Hello students, I am Pialina, your biology teacher, and I welcome you all to the biology e-learning classes. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. In my last video, we have already gone through the structure of DNA and its packaging, right? In the structure of DNA, we knew that the DNA is a double helix structure with the two strands coiled up each other, and they are running anti-parallel with polarity 5 dash to 3 dash, right? And the thing which I am going to tell you at this moment is the Chargaff's rule. What is a Chargaff's rule? We know that the DNA is made up of purines and pyrimidines. The Chargaff's rule states that the number of purines is equal to the total number of pyrimidines, right? That means the addition of adenine and guanine is always equal to the addition of cytosine and thiamine. Okay, today we will start with the search of genetic material or the search for genetic material. Okay, so the scientists were eager to know what was actually being transferred from one generation to another. To know this, the scientists carried out various experiments, and they wanted to know whether the DNA, the RNA, the protein, the carbohydrate, what is being transferred to the next generation and can be considered as an hereditary material. Okay, so the first experiment which we will go through for the search of genetic material is the Griffith's experiment on bacterial transformation. This is also known as the transforming principle. Okay, so Frederick Griffith carried out this experiment with Diplococcus pneumonia, and Diplococcus usually causes pneumonia in the animals. He grew the bacteria in a culture plates and found that they produce two types of strain: the S strain, which is the virulent, or and the R strain, which is the rough strain. Okay, the S strain usually forms smooth shiny colonies, as these bacteria had a mucus coat on their surface. Okay, while the R strain are formed of rough colonies, as they don't have that coating, so the surface was rough and the colony usually appeared dull in the plate. Okay, so what is the basic difference between the S strain and the R strain? The S strain is usually virulent. That means they has the capacity, this means the smooth colonies has the capacity to cause pneumonia in organisms when injected. Okay, and they had a smooth gummy polysaccharide coating which were called capsulated, and this coating protected the bacteria from the host's defense mechanism. Okay, next we come to the R strain, which was the non-virulent strain. That means it was non-pathogenic and was unable to cause pneumonia when injected inside an organism. Okay, it is rough strain because it didn't contain the smooth capsulated coating. So it was called non-capsulated, as it did not have the polysaccharide coating. Okay, so Griffith continued with a series of experiments where he injected a S strain into a mice and found that the mouse developed pneumonia and finally died. Then he injected a R strain into a mice, and he found that the mice did not get the disease and survived. Then he injected a heat-killed S strain. That means the S strain was heat-killed, and then it was injected into a mice, and the mice did not develop the disease and remained alive. And the last, what he did was he injected a mix of heat killed a strain and a live R strain, and he found that the mice suffered with pneumonia and finally died. So he recovered the live S bacteria from the dead mice. Okay. Now, in the last experiment, what he did, Griffith actually killed the strain of the S and mixed with the live R cell. That means the S strain is already killed while the R strain is live. Then why did the mice die? Because the R strain somehow got converted into the S strain and could produce the polysaccharide coating in it. That's why it developed the disease, and the host defense mechanism was not activated on it, and finally the mice developed the pneumonia and it died. Okay, so Griffith concluded from this experiment that there was some factor which was known as the transforming principle in heat killed S cells that was transferred, and it transferred the R cells into the S cells, right? So what happened? It enabled the R strain to synthesize in smooth polysaccharide coat and become virulent, which finally developed pneumonia and killed the mice. What is the biochemical characterization of the transforming principle? This was carried out, the Griffith's experiment was further carried out by Avery, Carty and MacLeod, who isolated the components of the heat-killed S cells in detail. Now, he also performed a series of experiments where he did three things. That is, he removed the polysaccharide capsule from the heat-killed S cells and mixed with the R cells. The mice died. He in the second one, he removed the protein fraction from heat-killed S cells and mixed with the live R cells. The mice again died due to pneumonia. And lastly, what he did, he added DNase enzyme into the heat-killed S cells and mixed with the live R cells. The mice survived. That means, what is the main function of the DNase? DNase is a type of enzyme which actually denatures the DNA. It breaks up the DNA. That's why it is DNase. So, in the first two experiments of Avery, where the mice actually died due to pneumonia, DNA of the heat-killed cells were intact, so it transformed the R live cells into the S type. But in case of the third one, where he applied DNase, the DNase actually denatured the DNA present in the S strain. So the DNA couldn't be converted into the live R strain, and the coat was not produced. So the mice couldn't develop the polysaccharide coating, and the mice survived. Okay. So, and through this experiment carried out by Avery, they also discovered that the protein digesting enzyme, which is the protease, and the RNA digesting enzyme, that is the RNase, does not actually affect any kind of transformation. That means the RNA or the protein does not affect the hereditary process or the inheritance process. So the transforming substance was not a protein or RNA but the DNA. Now the enzyme DNase did inhibit transformation, suggesting that DNA caused the transformation. Okay. So the Griffith showed the path, but the experiment that the DNA was the actually the hereditary material was confirmed by Avery and McLeod. Okay. So, we can conclude from this experiment that the phenomenon by which DNA isolated from one type of cells when introduced into the another type is able to give some of the properties of the former to the later, and this process is actually called transformation. Now, this experiment, the Griffiths and the Avery's experiment, also demonstrated that DNA can be transformed from one organism to another, and it continues to express its genetic qualities it transferred. And it also indicated that the DNA is the genetic material and is not destroyed by killing the cells by heat treatment, unless and until the DNA is being heated at around 100 degrees Celsius. Actually, the DNA gets denatured at a temperature of around 100 degrees Celsius, not at 50 to 60 degree Celsius. Okay, so a number of biologists were not convinced, but though a number of biologists were not convinced by these experiments, but they are still considered as these experiments are still considered as the authentic one. Okay, so we will continue with the next part of the chapter in the next video. Thank you.